Thanks to the support as a channel member, Chris Graves. Oh, everything is going even better than expected. We're top of the Bundesliga. We're in the second round of the Europa League. And Schultz is even better than I remember him. We might actually win everything this year, folks. Hello and welcome to Club 6, Part 7 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have both legs of our Europa League second round game against Lyon. But first, since you were last with me, we have been doing really rather well. Apart from the German Cup, which we got knocked out of playing the reserves, pretty much since the arrival of Schultz, we have been sensational. He got a fantastic assist on his debut, scored in his next game, and as you can see, he's been a regular contributor since then. He has been absolutely incredible. 4 goals, 3 assists, 2 man of the matches, and a 7.46 in his 9 games so far. He has grabbed this team by the scruff of the neck and turned us into world beaters. And it's a wonderful thing. This is what the league table looks like. Bayern Munich have had a little bit of a wobble recently, but he's still yet to play them for a second time this season as well. So massive game against Bayern, which should be tomorrow's episode, I think, if I remember the schedule correctly. But as it stands at the moment, with 3 points clear at the top of the league, and everything is looking lovely. When do we play Bayern? Tomorrow. So, yeah, we'll definitely be showing Bayern tomorrow, hopefully in combination with some kind of Europa League game. Schultz wasn't the only transfer that went on in January as well. I know we've jumped forward quite a bit of time, but that's because of the winter break that we have here in Germany. It's actually not a huge number of matches. Schultz is the only player who came in that £157 million move from Norwich, but we did try and fund it a little bit by letting some players go. We already knew Riviere was going to Juventus for £13.5 million. Armando Melo went to Real Madrid for, Barcelona. I thought he went to Real Madrid. Well, apparently he's gone to Barcelona for £22.5 million, and he's now immediately worth £117 million, which is very interesting. Mistake? Nah. Not a mistake. He wasn't getting in the team and would have been even further down the pecking order with Schultz in the club. And we also cut our losses on one of the under-21s we brought in the summer, Omar Awad, who was never going to play for us. We spent 26 million just because we were trying to get young players in. This is a guy who wasn't getting in Porto's team ever. He's never really played anywhere. And I think we've actually done quite well to only lose £12 million on him. He wasn't happy that he wasn't playing football, believe it or not. So, Lyon, this is the team that we're putting out there. And as you can see, I have ignored my original plan. I haven't even once played Schultz, at least from the start, on the left-hand side of midfield. He has come in. He came off the bench in his first game for Drury, was brilliant, got that assist that I talked about before, and he's just been our starter as attacking midfield since then. Drury has had to drop back into central midfield, which, I mean, it's not ideal, because he is one of the best attacking midfielders in the world, but he's no Colin Schultz. So I think he makes an excellent contribution from midfield. It's a very, very attacking front five that we've got now, because both Idoloff and Drury really should be playing further forward. So we've basically got 5 attacking midfielders and a striker, and it works well against teams we're better than. I am a little bit worried we might be a little soft through the centre in big games against big teams. I guess Drury's got 12 for tackling. That's world-class level, isn't it? And Idoloff, our most defensive midfielder, 7 for tackling. So, I mean, it's not perfect. Stubaluk, maybe. He's only got 9 for tackling. He's a little bit more defence-minded. We don't really have any kind of defensive midfielder. It's fine. We should go and get Morales off Real Madrid in the summer and just be able to draft him in when we need him as an actual out-and-out defensive midfielder. Maybe that's part of the plan. But this is the team for the Lyon game. We are just going to carry on our all-out attack system with Diego Henrique in goal, who, by the way, 3rd best goalkeeper in the world. There you go. 3rd place for World Goalkeeper of the Year. 3rd place for World Golden Glove. Thomas Silva winning it for the 2nd time in a row, as you would expect, because he is great. But Henrique, bearing in mind he's 30 years old, only played for Brazil twice and never played in Europe until we've brought him in. He's come in and made an immediate impact, and he's now considered one of the best goalkeepers in the world, which is good for him. Not so good for Gonzalo Garrizo, who I was hoping was going to be the new Thomas Silva, Another young Portuguese keeper who, to be fair, still has 5-star potential and absolute bags of value, and is 6'4" and will probably take over at some point. But for now, Enrique's doing an excellent job. So he's in goal. A back four of Locatelli, Stewart, Posterino and John, Idloff and Drury in midfield, Ballo, Schultz and Boning, then behind Luis Gustavo up front. Goals come from absolutely everywhere in this team. I know an episode or two back, I wasn't entirely sure if we were going to stick with a 4-2-3-1, maybe go back to a diamond, maybe try something entirely different. But certainly in these games against teams we're better than, and I think we're better than Lyon, in these games against teams we're better than, this system is unplayable for opposition teams. We just swarm all over them, constantly having players overloading into the penalty area. And look, Drury, look at the space Drury's in there. To have him playing that deep. But they've actually, I mean, this is the downside of our system. You can see there's a counter-attack that's come straight through our middle here because everybody swarms forward. I don't know that this is going to work if we play against anybody good. I guess the big test will be tomorrow against Bayern Munich, unless Lyon are better than I anticipated. And it might mean I need to rethink as we get deeper in the Europa League. If we get deeper in the Europa League, I've kind of assumed we're going to beat Lyon here, but they've just got a striker who's just grabbed his 26th goal of the season to put them 1-0 up against us. And that might be the wake-up call that we need to just remind me that we're not as good as I think we are. It's only a couple of episodes ago that we were abandoning everything and panic signing a former player for £150 million. There is Schultz, who, I mean, he's not a panic signing. He's all part of the getting back at Schalke plan more than anything. And like I say, he's come in and been absolutely brilliant since he's been back in Germany as well. There is Schultz dropping a little bit deeper, laying it after Boning, and now John on the overlap on this right-hand side. So many options for him in the middle if he chooses to cross. Instead, plays it back to Idloff, back with John again. There's Schultz in the penalty area, just dancing around, keeping possession. John, Idloff, Drury. This is what I'm talking about before. We are unplayable when we get like this. So many players, so good on the ball. We've got no defensive oomph, but goodness me, are we attractive going forward. Very much a Kev team, and we miss out from the corner, but it ends up with Locatelli, who seemingly isn't able to keep the move going. So it remains 1-0 as we hit the half-hour mark. I think we're going to go attack him. We're just gonna lean into the fact that we've got no defensive midfielder and just attack. Enrique's there to make the save. I mean, it's a bit of a sitter for the Lyon striker. Really, you would have backed him to score there. Enrique with a relatively easy save, and now we've offered some encouragement. We've gone attacking. We've decided to go and get a goal or two in this match. Forget waiting for the home leg the way we normally would. We're an attacking force. Let's play to our strengths. Although Lyon are still holding on to the ball. They've got it in over the top of us here, and Enrique, luckily, the third best goalkeeper in the world, is there to make the save. We have been the second best team in this first half. It's not just Lyon haven't just grabbed a fluke goal. They have outplayed us. And this, I'll level with you, not really what I was expecting to happen in today's episode. You would have heard me talking before the match, kind of assuming we were going to move past this lot and get into the next round. But I don't know, maybe Lyon a team, presumably, that came out of the Champions League, and perhaps the gap between us and those Champions League teams is a little bit bigger than I first thought it was. John to Boning on the right-hand side. Schultz now, who's been a little bit quiet, but then so is everybody in our attack. Nobody's played particularly well going forward so far. John plays it into Idloff, and then back to John again. This is where we have the men over, and Schultz. What a goal. What a player. He has, I mean, we have seen him from 16 years old at Schalke turn into a real top player at Norwich. And then in the 2 years we've been away from Norwich, he's turned into one of the best players in the world. Because that is stupendous. And it's not the first time he's done it since he's been back. Norwich have been absolutely wasting him, playing him out on the left-hand side. You need to build the entire team around him. He is that good. I take him ahead of Koulibaly. I take him ahead of Drury. He is the best attacking midfielder we've had in this save. And he is sensational. And he's just shown it again there. 1-1. What a goal from Schultz. And there's more action going on before half time. Are we able to grab a second? It's actually Lyon who are on the attack, and their shot whistles wide at the base of the post. But after a disappointing first half, we've come alive in these last couple of minutes. In swinging corner, Luis Gustavo needs to get a bit of a wriggle on to get there. He does. And now Posterino to Drury, Idoloff. We're just knocking the ball around amongst us again, waiting for somebody to get into a position where they can do something special. It might be Boning who does it. His shot is straight at the Lyon goalkeeper. But certainly, last couple of minutes of that half, we woke up. Fingers crossed, we stay awake for the second half. So, I mean, looking at the match stats, we do still need to grab ourselves some XG. You know how important XG is to me. But we are certainly playing a lot better since we've switched to an attacking instruction. There's probably an argument with the way we've got the players set up to just go attacking from the start of every game and just go with the whole we'll score more than you attitude and just absolutely, like I say, lean in to what our strengths are. Boning looks like he's struggling a little bit, so we might take him off in a moment. Lyon are in here. And that is, again, not part of the script. They have got some goal scorers in this team. The first guy had scored 26 goals. That's the 18th goal of the season for him. And we're in for more of a battle today than I thought we would. I mean, 10 minutes ago, I said we could win everything this season. Might have got a little bit overconfident from giving a few batterings to a few average lower level Bundesliga sides, which when will I learn that the real top teams in the Bundesliga are amongst the top in Europe, but the lower half of the Bundesliga is absolute trash. We know that from when we were at Schalke and how easy it was for us to move up to mid-table with a very, very poor team. It wouldn't have been good enough for promotion from the Championship in England, that Schalke team. And yeah, I might have got myself a little bit overconfident. Even put the high-vis jacket back on. I feel like an idiot wearing this whilst losing. Idoloff wins the ball back. Ruben, who's just come on. What a goal from Ruben. He's been on the pitch about 40 seconds. That might even have been his first touch. That's even better than the goal we just saw from Schultz. Let's look at this from the other angle. This is stupendous from Ruben. Idoloff does well to win it back. Ruben, one touch, two touch, bang. What a goal. 2-2. We have got some very, very good players in this team. Schultz and Ballo are both now tiring as well as part of this attack. And once again, defensive frailties. And Henrique is there to get us out of jail this time. But we could have conceded 4 or 5 in this game. We are not, officially, not as good as I thought we were. But we might be good enough going forward that it doesn't matter. That's the hope. That's the gamble now. Although having to take Schultz off, not ideal. Is nice to be able to push Drury further forward, though, and have that as the compensation. Right, Ballo. We don't really have anyone to come on for Ballo because Schmidt isn't on the bench, who's been my backup to him. So I guess we could push Idoloff forward, who's also very tired. If anything, Idoloff's more tired. So let's take Idoloff off. Have Cloves and Stubaluk in midfield. And Drury gets to play the final 20 minutes back in the attacking midfield position where we know he's a massive threat. But just hasn't had much opportunity to play there and won't get much opportunity to play there going forward. Manchester City is still sniffing around both Drury and Boning. I would be open to the idea of selling Drury if it was for mega money and allowed us to go and get Delgado. Maybe. It would be terrifying, Manchester City having Koulibaly and Drury. But no more terrifying than us having Drury and Schultz, I guess. It shows that we're right up there as a top tier team. I just maybe haven't figured out how to get the best out of us yet because we've not come and beaten Lyon. It's defensively we need to fix it. We need a defensive midfielder. That's what it is. We need a defensive midfielder. Do we need to go back to the diamond? Because in order to play a defensive midfielder, you either sacrifice the attacking midfielder, which ruins Schultz. Oh, that's lovely from Drury. He's very unlucky there. Or you sacrifice the wingers, Boning and Ballo. Let both of them go. That's £200 million off a player leaving the club. Go and get Borja Morales to play as our defensive midfielder from Real Madrid. And then, I mean, we could potentially, thinking in terms of transfers again, we could go get Morales and Delgado, as in Norwich Delgado, the striker, play with Gustavo and Delgado up front, Morales at the base of the midfield, let the two wide players go, keep Drury and Schultz, play one as the attacking midfielder, one as the Mazzala. It could be a beautiful thing. There you go. We have a youth intake. If you are a Name in the Game channel member and you don't yet have a youth player, let me know down in the comments which one of those you want, if you want one of those, and I will get those renamed for you. But now I need to go and play Freiburg off camera, and we'll be back for Lyon in the second leg after a quick moment with Past Kev, without the jacket as well. Quick, take the jacket off so continuity works. Before we go any further in the video, just want to take a moment to thank today's sponsor, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for anyone who loves learning and wants to explore their creativity and learn new skills. Invest in yourself and your personal growth. Have a specific skill you're trying to learn? Skillshare is the perfect place to start. From photography and illustration to graphic design, freelancing, and more, you can find classes that will match your goals and interests. Now, as some of you may know, I've recently completely rebranded and reinvented my second channel, the channel formerly known as the vlog channel, into something completely different. And in order to do that, one of the things that I did was headed over to Skillshare to have a look to see what courses could help me out. And one that I found really useful is this one from one of my favorite YouTubers, actually, Ali Abdal, starting a successful side hustle. Now, I wasn't strictly starting one, but I was kind of burning everything down and starting again from scratch, and used this to help me build a plan for how I might do that, how it might look, how it might work. Would highly recommend it. It covers things as early as idea generation and how to get motivated, as well as looking to how to get the actual practical plan in place so that you actually can become a success with your side hustle. What's more, Skillshare is ad-free, so you can stay in the zone whilst exploring new skills. I have new premium classes launching every week, so there's always something new to discover. And the entire catalogue is now available with subtitles in English, German, French, Portuguese, and Spanish. And if all of that's not enough to really sweeten the deal, the first 1,000 people who sign up using the link at the top of the description below or using my code LOLLUJO will get a free 1-month trial of Skillshare. I've been working with Skillshare for a long time now, both in terms of promoting them through my videos and also using them as a service in the background as well. I can't recommend them highly enough, and I'd really appreciate you supporting them and supporting the channel by trying out the free trial. Back to the video. Oh, get my jacket back on. There we go. That all happened in real time. Weirdly, we've got the draw for the quarterfinal and semi-final of the Europa League before we've even played the second round. So I guess we'll watch the draw. There's obviously lots of teams still in it. So this is for the quarterfinal. Bologna or Sporting versus Nice or Sevilla. Roma or Lens versus Ajax or some made-up team, creative club situation, I guess. Us or Lyon will face Salzburg or Galatasaray. All three of those matches, on the face of it, seem very winnable. And then Valencia or Lille will face Montpellier or Bayer Leverkusen. And then can we get to the semi-final as well? I mean, this is a nonsense at this point. There's about 13 teams in each pot. So us or Lyon or Salzburg or Galatasaray will face Bologna, Sporting, Nice or Sevilla. It feels like a winnable route through to the final. And then in the final, it will be Roma, Lens, Ajax, Lazio, Valencia, Lille, Montpellier, or Bayer Leverkusen. We should be winning the Europa League this year. Looking at those teams left in it, there's no Barcelona, Real Madrid, that kind of level of club. We should be winning this. Let's try and win it, shall we? So one comfortable win over Freiburg later leaves us still top of Bundesliga and going into our second leg against Lyon, needing a win. Same 11, I think, that played in the first leg. There's a few legs getting a little tired, so probably should have rotated a little bit more against Freiburg than I did, but I kind of want to win the Bundesliga. It's really difficult prioritizing. We do have a big squad, so I mean, we all know I'm not great when it comes to squad rotation. I need to get better at it. But we're 1-0 up here. This is where the rotation can come in. When we're 5-0 up by half time, I can rotate then. See? That's how squad rotation should really work. The overconfidence is back. We played very, very well against Freiburg, who I guess aren't as good as Lyon, but opening the scoring after less than a minute is a very nice way to start to progress towards the quarter-final of this competition. If we can grab another goal here inside the first 10, 15 minutes or so, I will start to feel a little bit more comfortable. Posterino bringing the ball out of defence. It's now with John to Idoloff, and now John again in a crossing position. Now I guess he's going to cut it back to Idoloff. He does, who drills the ball over. Luis Gustavo's there. I think he's onside there. The referee's got his finger in his ear, so I guess he's going to talk to the little man who lives in there. But I'm pretty sure this one is onside. Brilliant. Why do I even bother predicting? It looked onside to me. He's miles off. Have I seen a football match before? Feel free to speculate amongst yourselves. I know there are ways in FM to tell as well. I've deliberately not learned what the tell is. It's something to do with how the players celebrate. I force myself not to know and not to look so that I could get a little bit more tension. I don't want to know just from seeing it instantly. Takes some of the fun out of it, doesn't it? This is about story. It's not about finding glitches in the game. Goodness me. Right. Lyon on the attack again, but Drury with a lot of help from Schultz. I mean, you don't expect those two to be the ones winning the ball back in midfield, but between the two of them, that's exactly what has happened. And now Boning down the right plays the ball over to Locatelli. I'm not sure that's who he was aiming for, but Locatelli can keep the move going, and Gustavo is there to get on the end of the cross. This time he's definitely onside. Nods the ball past the keeper, and at 4-2 on aggregate, with it being all Dortmund so far, this should be ours for the taking. Now, we just had that little note come up on screen. Lyon have now stopped trying to hit us on the counter-attack, so it looks like they came with quite a defensive mindset. I don't think they played a 4-5-1 in the first leg, did they? I think they played a 4-4-2. So they have come here a lot more defensively minded, and it's just not the way to play against us. You've got to come at us like head on, attack us as much as we attack you. Because if you come and defend and let our front five have the ball, then, or front six have the ball, then they will ruin you with it. You've got to punish the fact that we don't really have a defensive midfielder, that we don't have. We basically have a back two. We have two defenders because these fullbacks push on as much as the fullbacks do in the diamond. We just don't have the central midfielder in there for cover. It's even more attacking than the system that we won the Champions League with Real Madrid, because that definitely happened. Right, ball forward, Posterino winning it back nicely, and we just look to get a move going again. Ballo coming miles infield. I love inside forwards. We're basically playing with 6 central midfielders because Gustavo drops deep. Schultz comes away with the ball here. He's going to whack this. Goes just wide. Schultz trying to show off again in Europe. It has been a complete contrast to that first leg. It has been all Dortmund in this game. And Lyon just aren't really putting up much of a fight, are they? I think we can probably... I'd like a third goal before I start to take off the stars. I think we can... It feels like job is done here. I just don't want to take off the heavy hitters too soon if we then find ourselves in a situation where we need a goal late on. Ballo's been fouled there, though, in the penalty area. That should be a penalty. And once this is in, we're going to do a triple substitution and take off Schultz, Boning and Ballo. We'll probably take off all 3 of them and save them for future enterprises. Gustavo to take. He needs to score this so we can make our triple substitution. And he does. While they're celebrating, triple change. Let's save some legs. Schultz is going to come off. Drury can go further forward. Stubaluk comes on for him. Gustavo can go out onto the wing there, and Ruben can come on up front. And then we're stuck with Ballo again. Idoloff can go out onto the left, and Cloves can come on in midfield. We'll swap those two over. That is still a very impressive looking attack, but it saves 3 players for future matches with 25 minutes to go. Talking of 25, it's a 25th goal of the season for Luis Gustavo, which is all the more impressive when you see that Ruben is closing in on 20 goals as well. So bearing in mind we only play one up front, the 2 strikers who effectively are rotating have got close to 50 goals between them, which is lovely. Posterino has got the ball in the back of the net for the second time in this match as well. Is this one going to be given to make it 4-0? This is more like what I expected from this tie. It has been given 4-0 on the night, 6-2 on aggregate. I expected us to do this to Lyon. That first leg, like I say, they went off script and it wasn't really acceptable. But this set of match stats, this scoreline, this is what we signed up for. This is more like it. And we are now into the quarterfinal of the Europa League, which we should, if everything works out nicely on the schedule, I'd like to show you Bayern Munich and the second leg of that quarterfinal tomorrow. So let's just check the schedule, check who we're playing as well in that second leg. We got £1 million for that. Let's give Posterino a pat on the head for his 2 goals. Watford think they're going to be able to sign Luis Gustavo. I know they've got money, but they are still Watford. So schedule. Oh, in actual fact, we'll perhaps do Bayern in the first leg of Galatasaray, and then Galatasaray and Bayer Leverkusen. They're both big matches. Yeah, that's exactly what we'll do. We'll spread it over a couple of days so we can show all the big matches as we try and compete on 2 fronts. We want a Bundesliga, we want a Europa League. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.